Okay, so hello everybody. My name is David Kerwin, and I am a director of Engine Solutions, who are the software company who were commissioned with building the TOV Central Report. So today I have a brief presentation, and the main substance will be a walkthrough of the software system itself. So for the presentation, I'll be covering just an overview of the timelines, which Rebecca has already given you some details on, and the network and IT requirements for the system. And then, as I say, the walkthrough of the software itself. So we have a live version of the software, which I'll be happy to take any questions on. So in terms of the project which we've been working on, we completed an analysis stage to agree on the requirements for the system itself in conjunction with IPHA and several member companies. And we've completed at this stage the build of the software, and as Rebecca mentioned earlier, it's currently being user acceptance tested to finalise a release for mid to late May. So at that stage, the system will be made available to member companies, and the website itself, the transfer value public website, will then be made available once all of the company information has been loaded into the system by yourselves. So that's just a timeline of the project to date. It was started at the beginning of November. The analysis continued for approximately 3 months. The build of the system then started in February and has just completed at the start of April, and as I say, we're now in acceptance testing, due for launch ready for the 16th of May, so a date for launch yet to be confirmed. So in terms of the network and IT requirements for the software, it's a web-based system, so any common browser software can be used, Internet Explorer, Firefox and Chrome being 3 of the most common. It will be secured using SSL, so all of the information will be encrypted, and all of the information that you upload to the system will be secure and only accessible by yourselves in terms of updating the information. As Rebecca said, IPHA have no access to the information, so you control all information that you upload to the system. Okay, so I'm just going to bring a web browser up now. If you give me a moment, and I'll bring up the system itself. I'm glad that came up. I haven't had a chance to check if all of the connections were in place, so happy to see that. Okay, so there are 2 aspects to the system, I suppose. There's a secure login area, which, as I say, only the member companies will have access to. So you'll be set up with a username and password to get access to the login area. And then there's a public website which all members of the public, anybody can access any of the information which you've uploaded and made available, actually published through the system. So I'll run through a couple of scenarios. The first one is to publish your first 2015 dataset. So if you can imagine just coming to the system for the first time and looking to upload your 2015 dataset once you're happy that you have that information available to you. Okay, so when we log into the system as a company user, we're brought to the home screen of the extranet, where there are a set of frequently asked questions, which will be useful to you certainly when the system is launched, just to answer any initial questions that you might have about the system. As I say, I'm going to assume that we have a dataset file available to us. The main work that happens when you log into the system is to upload your dataset through the submissions section here. The navigation is available at the top of the screen. We have home, submissions and administration there. So for the submissions, the data itself, I suppose, is contained in your CSV file. So really, to upload a submission, all you're looking at is that you're uploading it to the correct submission period. You'll be logged in under your company account, so all of that information will be defaulted in. The system tells you who you're logged in under, the company that you're logged in under, and lets you select the submission period. So currently, when the system is launched, there'll only be one submission period available, but obviously over the years, new submission periods will be added, so you'll need to be aware of which year you're uploading to. So to upload your dataset file, which you should have available to you from your internal IT systems, you click the Choose File button, and it allows you to select your CSV file, which has been Rebecca, do you know where the presentations are on this, by any chance?
Your presentation?
Yeah.
It's open behind there, is it not? Under P for presentation, is that not? There, is that what it is?
Yeah.
That one.
There, okay, somewhere.
For CSV file.
Yeah, no, I have them here, yeah. Perfect. Sorry now. No. So this is a dataset file which I have just saved to the desktop here. So as I say, these dataset files you'll receive from your own internal IT systems. So if I select that dataset file, it's uploaded to the system, confirms the details of it here, and you select the upload button to upload it to the system, and it should try to import it into the system and associate it with this submission period for your company. So when I choose to upload that file, if there are any errors or problems with the file, the system notifies you, so it looks into the file and tells you if there are any problems with it. So in this case, it's validated the file name of the file that I uploaded, and it's noticed that I'm trying to upload a 2014 dataset to the 2015 submission period. So it does a certain amount of checking to ensure that you upload the correct information to the correct year. So if I select a 2015 dataset file instead, and let that upload to the system. So when you upload a file which meets the naming rules, it then looks at the information, the records that are in the file itself. So in this case, I've uploaded a file which I know to have errors in it, just to demonstrate the error handling, the information that is presented back to you. So it will look at the information in the file, and it will make sure that it meets all of the requirements to be uploaded to the system. So in this case, there is an invalid numeric value, and there's a problem with the information in line 8, where the total value doesn't add up to the information supplied in the row. So it's just to say, wherever possible, the system will, I suppose, explain to you any of the reasons why it couldn't import the file, and it will only import a valid file into the system, so it will check it before it imports it. So I'll do take 3, which I know to be a valid file, and this will upload into the system. And if the system accepts the file, it'll be uploaded into your history records. So there's a couple of records here that were uploaded before. It uploads it into your history records, where you can see all of the files that were uploaded for this submission period, and all the methodological notes as well. So in this case, I've uploaded this file here. It gives you the time and date that it was uploaded and who uploaded it to the system, and you can click to access the file that was uploaded also. So there's a view link here on the right. I can view the details of the file itself. So as I say, the system loads in all the information and displays it back to you, so you can verify it on screen. So this information at the moment, yes?
So currently, even if you press publish this version by accident, it's not a problem, because David will have the override button, as it were. It won't go live but for the future, after the 30th of June, once you press publish that, it will go live. Okay, so just to note that, so until the 30th of June, it will be slightly different this year, but after that, as soon as you publish that, it's going live.
Yeah, there's a couple of things to mention in relation to when the a particular data set will go live. So there's every file that's uploaded to the system is automatically set to draft. So you have an opportunity to review it, and there's a publishing process which you walk through, which I'll show you in a minute, which it'll be made clear to you exactly when the information is being published. For say the current, if we just focus on the current year for 2015 data sets, when the system is made available to you, there'll be a kind of go live date that the system is aware of. So it will tell you if the data isn't going to go live until the 1st of July and you upload it on the 30th of May, it will say this data set will not be made publicly available until the 1st of July. So the system will tell you when it's going to go live. If you're making an amendment to a data set and you're publishing a data set for 2015, later in September this year, it will tell you this data set will be made public immediately. So the system will notify you as to exactly when it's going to go live. Yes, question in the back?
You need to make an amendment to some of the clause of consent during the sort of lockdown period.
Yeah, very good. So I have a few more scenarios to work through, and in fact an amendment is one of those. So bear with me and I'll walk you through that scenario.
Sorry, just
Yeah.
in terms of the way it appears, so if you publish a new report, does the old report come off the IPHA platform and just the one stay up, or do both versions stay there?
All versions are available to you as a company user logged into the system, but there can only be one published version for each year, and only the published version is available on the public website. And again, you'll see the public website now in a moment, and it should be a little bit clearer when I walk through a couple more scenarios how those different aspects work. Okay. Yep.
Quick question: the login details are unique to the company or unique to an individual?
Unique to an individual, so a company can have multiple users. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. So at this stage we have uploaded a dataset file, and it's a draft file at the moment. So to make this file public, we simply go down to the bottom where we've reviewed the information, and there's a publish this version. So if I click on publish this version, the system brings me to a confirm submission screen and shows me that I'm about to publish the above submission, and this submission will be published immediately. So for the sake of this demonstration, I've set up the system so that it's going to make the information available immediately so we can review that. But in fact, when you're using the system in the coming weeks and months, it will say the information won't be available until July or whatever the date is that's agreed. So for this demonstration, I'll confirm that publication, and we'll see that I come back out to the main screen, and the latest version that I've just uploaded, version 5 here, has been changed to published, and a previous version, any other version which was previously live, will be set back to draft and will be taken down from the live system. So that's publishing your dataset file, and the next step to look at then is what's it look like on the public website. So if I jump over to this screen here, this is the TOV website, which will be made available to the public. Again, we don't have a date for exactly when this will be put live just yet, but the main thing to say, even if the website is put live, the dataset information will only be available at a date of an agreed date, a date of IPHA's choosing. So the website itself, the main function of the website is to provide you access to the dataset files. So we have a drop down on the right hand side here to allow you to choose a company, and only the companies which have published datasets will appear in this drop down. So when I select the company, I first need to view the methodological note, which has been uploaded with the dataset itself. So I can view that file. When I confirm that I've read the methodological note, I can then and only then access the transfer of value details. So this is the process to access any transfer of value disclosure from any company. Each time you want to access it, you must look at the methodological note, because again, that methodological note can have been updated in the event of a new transfer of value being uploaded to. So the user needs to select the company, view the methodological note, and then access the transfer of value. So when they access the transfer of value, it shows them what year it relates to, the company, gives them contact details if they want to query the information, and these will be the individual company contact details, and then shows them the transfer value disclosure information.
Just to confirm, David, I mean, we know this because we've been present here, so you won't be able to search for a particular individual, you'll just scroll down to see it.
No, exactly that. The information is presented just with the full data set for a company for a year, so there are no search tools or tools available to interact with the information or search the information in any way. It is exactly as you see it here, so this system has been designed and built to specification, and unless there are changes that come up through the acceptance testing, this is as it will be when the site goes live.
And sorry, there's no way to extract the data, say, to put into a database query for all the companies?
Is there a way technically from a software point of view? Absolutely, yes.
No,
but
from
an end user browsing the website? Yeah. Well, the website doesn't provide any tools to do that, so anything they did, they would have to do themselves. So it is public information that's available on a website, so people are free to print it, take a copy of it.
Technically you could extract everything, stick it in a database, do a query, and then do a consolidation.
Absolutely, yeah. But that would be, your work, your undertaking, and anything that any claims you make from that would be your own, I suppose. But from IPHA's point of view, the functionality and the information that's provided is exactly as you see here.
But I think is the table right? Can you right click it to copy and paste?
Yeah,
you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, once you choose to make information available online, they are the challenges at that stage. You can't control what people do with it thereafter. Yeah. Okay, so the next scenario is just to imagine there was a question earlier about is a login tied to a company or is it an individual user? So I'll just run through setting up an additional user for a company, and I'll show you how that works. So if a new user for your company needs to use the system and help with updating the information, they can register for access, and an email will be sent to the company administrator for the company that they select here to request the access. Okay, so if I register a new user here, so this is the public form that anybody from your company can use. It gets submitted to the system, but an account isn't created until the company themselves go in and approve this account. So to give this user access, you need to log into the system as a company administrator, and you have an administration section here. You'll also receive an email notifying you of the new request and a link in the email to click directly into the system. So the process is quite straightforward. So you'll see the account has been created in the system, but it isn't enabled at this point. So if I just edit this user and enable the account, this will allow this user to then log into the system, and I'll walk through just another scenario which will be for this user themselves to come along to the system and make an update to the data set, and I'll show you how that works.
So while you're doing that, David, I'll just say that that's why it's very important to we ask companies to give us an initial set of users initially, and then so we can verify all of you, but after that you'll entirely be doing the verification internally yourselves. You need to be very secure as it's handed one individual to the next. You will have no control then after that, be entirely at your discretion. So rather like medicines.ie.
In terms of the users, sorry, go ahead,
Can you
Jess.
have more than one admin person?
Yes, you can. You can have as many admin users or as many just standard users as you wish, yeah.
We'd recommend though that you limit it. Because if you have a lot of people, I mean this is public data, and in terms of risk mitigation, you really want to have one or two people who really know the system using it.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking more there'll be one person who could be the main contact,
Yes,
but one person who's the main administrator.
of course, yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of the users, the email address that the user entered is used as their username. So, email addresses are unique and tied to an individual. So the email address will be the main kind of handle of the user. So they are accounts that are specific to an individual user. So if I log in as the user, which you've just registered and enabled, I'll see that they're set up by default as just a standard company user, so they don't have access to the administration section. They can't create their own users or control any of those elements. Really, the only functionality available to them is to update the submission information for their company. So if I just run through an example here, at the moment the company information that has been uploaded to the system has valid information here, a set of HCPs and a set of HCOs. So I'm just going to quickly upload. I'll update the dataset file with a blank file of 0, so it'll just blank out all the information. And just to demonstrate, I'll upload a new methodological note also. So if I upload the dataset and methodological note, assuming that those files are all valid and correct, they'll be uploaded to the system. And again, initially they're set to a draft status here. So I can view this dataset file and review the information that was contained in the CSV. So as you see, it's all zeros here. And I'll go ahead and publish this version. Get my confirmation message again and confirm publication. And to demonstrate the effect on that, because the system is live and set to publish straight away, when I go back to the transfer value website and select Acme Limited again and access the transfer value, we'll see the updated information here has all been updated, and this will be available to the public then at that stage. Now, as an administrator, you should probably be alarmed that somebody has just wiped your valid dataset information and set everything to 0. So in this event, and just to show you some of the kind of security and audit information that's built into the system, I'll just do one more demonstration where I log back in as the company administrator. And we'll note the administration module is available again, and there's another section here for audit trail information. So key information relating to any activities that have taken place for your company is available through the audit trail here. So when a user logged in, when they uploaded data files, when they were published, when they updated a methodological note, and actions around users. So I can select for dataset files being published, and I'll see when they were published to the live website. So in this case, I have test at acme.com, which is the user we're logged in as now. The administrator updated a file at 18 minutes past 12, and then shortly after, this new user uploaded their own file. And I can view into the audit trail log and look at the actual submission that they uploaded. And I can see that it was the zeros here, which I'm not happy with. So I can go back and look at my upload. So if I look at the data set that I published at 18 minutes past 12, I can look at the individual submission, which is now set to a draft, and I can just choose to publish it immediately and bring my information back online. So I publish this and
Does
confirm.
the admin person get an email when there's a new report that's published?
Yes, so there are a number of notifications that are built into the system, and the publishing of a dataset file is one of those. When a dataset file is uploaded to the system or when it's published, the administrators are notified, yes. Yeah.
All the administrators, so it's not right.
Yeah, that's
Everyone-
right, yeah.
Everyone who's
Yeah.
an administrator
So-
for security reasons.
Yeah. So as you were saying, if you had, somebody who's a primary contact and somebody who also does most of the actual uploading work, they'll both be notified when a data set is updated. Yeah.
And can you keep a track who's looking at the site as well? Is that a capability there?
Yeah, Google Analytics will be installed on the website, so yeah, there will be analytics data available. Yes.
And that will give us things like the number of hits, but not who. I don't think we can track who
No.
specifically, but
No.
just the number of people who are looking.
Google do a certain amount of work to try to identify, the source of clicks, but that is it's Google Analytics functionality that's available to you there, rather than anything particular to the system. Yeah. Okay, so if I just quickly go back just to show that the information has been updated again on the company, and this I suppose just to demonstrate that it is, once the system is live, and there were some questions previously around, if you have to update information around somebody withdrawing consent from the IT or the software side of things. Once you have your data set, your updated data set file available to you, it is as simple as uploading it and clicking a button. So sometimes people say it's as simple as just clicking a button, but in this case, it really is. So when you have your information available, you can choose to publish it immediately or at a time of your choosing. Okay, so that's the end of the walkthrough for today. Does anybody have any other questions? Yes?
Maybe a silly question, but I'm going to ask it, so forgive me. Obviously there's a unique login, which is great. Doesn't matter where that person is, so they don't have to be based here or in Europe, they could be anywhere, or there is a restriction on where they are?
No, there's no restriction at all, no.
Right, thank you.
No problem. Yes?
When the HCPs get access to the data, will it be through this site for an early access version of it, or will it be something completely different?
Right, there's no early access version specifically.
Okay.
We
So they won't get
haven't
to
built
reuse.
that into the system, no, that wasn't an early requirement.
Yeah, I'm going to say, in terms of the logins themselves, I don't know if you've missed an email or whether they've not been sent out yet, but logins for the live system.
No, we haven't set up because we're still at user acceptance testing phase. So what you should have done is sent us details of who you'd like as an administrator. So contact details, and if not, Amy will chase you. I mean, there's, really companies have to be responsible and send that in, so you should have given us 2 contact names, I think is what we asked for, and then at the appropriate time we'll generate usernames and passwords for those. And if we don't have them, then we can't send them out, so you can't use the system. But we're still at user acceptance testing phase. So we expect it to be mid-May at the earliest before that happens. And then all correspondence will be with those administrators that you've already designated. So if you're unsure, if you check with Amy, obviously not all together, but just send her an email. To the question about having a healthcare professional review the data, in theory you could do a screenshot and blank out of the parts. So I mean, that might be difficult if you've got hundreds of HCPs, but it wasn't a functionality that was required.
Yeah.
I think, Rebecca, if I could just add on that before I speak, I think we have recommended to members to go to the HCPs, and just inform them, regardless of this, that, this information will be going live as best practice.
We have, yeah, and how they do it is up to them, yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Deb.